Your lips would make a lollipop too happy.
You think so?
Yes.
Who's paying for this, Morse?
I think you know that. Drone. Get my change, would you? Oh, Lord. Either somebody put something in my drink or you're the finest motherfucker I've seen in ages.
Excuse me, what did you say?
You look nice tonight. I wish you could see my home. It's so exciting. A bedroom. I have a brass water bed. I have an Italian cook. Gino Scagagratti or something like that. It's rare that I put my cards on the table when it comes to meeting young ladies, but I'm gonna make you love me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Revolution.
What is up, everybody? WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia. Man, I tell you what, this that was a little clip from what is her name? Just Joy 1980. She makes all these little. It's a brand new channel that just came up on YouTube, and she takes these really weird, iconic clips and then she Muppetizes them. I wish that she would work a little bit on like the lip syncing a little bit better, but I mean, other than that, it's like really entertaining to watch. It's like that's just ridiculous. It's just so silly.
It's like Purple Yankers.
Yankers, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's so. Anyways, you can. I think it's YouTube/just Joy 1980 or something like that. I think I remember it. Anyways, welcome to Funkatopia. I'm your host, Mr. Christopher. This is the man with the plan, Mr. Michael Bland over here.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. Welcome to our humble little podcast. I know you guys are tuned in for the interview with MonoNeon. We are doing the same thing that we did with the Thomas Dolby interview, where we've already pre-recorded it. It's already ready to go. And at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a mere 11 minutes from right now, you can go to youtube.com/Funkatopia and refresh the page, and the interview for MonoNeon will be up there. If you are a Patreon supporter, I put that there yesterday. Okay. And so you could actually watch it if you are a Patreon supporter. And again, make sure you support us, because if you do, then you get little kind of cool things like that. So you go to patreon.com/Funkatopia, which is the last part of this scroll right here, patreon.com/Funkatopia, and support us, and you get access to that show. Also, yesterday was the 9th anniversary of Prince's final concerts. So the 7 p.m. show and the 10 p.m. show. Hold on a second. Can't talk right now. I'll call you.
Somebody don't know you're on the air.
Well, yeah, which is crazy because he knows I'm on the air. I don't know why. He's just like, oh yeah, it's Tuesday. But anyways, yeah. So what was I saying? So yesterday was the 9th anniversary of Prince's final two concerts, the 7 p.m. show and the 10 p.m. show at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Again, lucky to be at both of them. It was pretty amazing concerts. But yesterday, the Patreon supporters actually got to listen to those two shows yesterday on the radio station that's on the Funked Up app, but is behind the Patreon wall. It's password protected, so you have to be a Patreon supporter to get in it. And they actually listened to those shows, and it was pretty intense. And that's the reality. We'll talk about that. Yeah, he's not watching right now. What's going on, Walter from Alabama? Hey, what is going on? Tracy from London. All right, we see you. Joe from Indianapolis. Christina from Minneapolis. I will be in Minneapolis, in your town and Michael's town this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Saturday I'm going to be up there. I'm actually flying out flying out of Atlanta Saturday. I think I arrive at like something like 11 o'clock or 10 something. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to just get some exercise, maybe head up to Paisley Park, walk around there a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but then I'm going to head on over to where Michael is, and we're going to check out that amazing Together show. It's pretty, man. I can't wait for it. I know I have the screen here, and it's like, it was going to be one of the last things I talk about, but I want to, since we're talking about it right now, there it is. This Saturday, the Together Show this Saturday, which is the tribute to the music of Prince, featuring former members of the New Power Generation, including the one and only Mr. Michael Bland down here, Tommy Barbarella, Levi Caesar Jr., Dr. Fink of the Revolution, and of course, Homer and Rick from Ring Condition, G Sharp, JB, Ashley Commodore, the Urban Classic Horns. It is all happening this Saturday, and it's going to be happening. Yeah, you need to be there. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I'm all the way in Atlanta, so there's no excuse if you shouldn't, you gotta be there. Absolutely. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have some good times there. And I'm gonna just stay until a little bit later on Sunday. I think I leave at like 4-ish or something, but just long enough to kind of check out the show. Yes, I would hang out for the 9-year anniversary of his passing, which is on Monday. But I really don't want to miss any work. And 9-year anniversary is kind of the next year when we do the 10-year anniversary, then we're gonna something has to be done. Something has to be done. I mean, we have to do. I think I did a candlelight ceremony. We're going to talk more about this, but hey, if you guys are going to be in Minneapolis this weekend or can be in Minneapolis this weekend, get a ticket to the show and come and hang out with us, Michael Bland and myself. We're going to be there, and it's going to be an amazing show, and you're not going to want to miss it. So don't miss it. And if you want to get tickets for it, just go to funkatopia.com/NPG. You know what it stands for. So we'll talk about a little bit about that, and there it is. Freak Tech, you see Freak Tech's question there says, is there a dance floor or is it a seated event? I think there are. You tell me what it is.
As far as I know, it's a seated event. I've never been in the venue. It's the Hopkins Center for the Arts. Everybody just keeps telling me how nice it is, but I couldn't tell you if there's room to dance or not.
Well, you know what's really cool, Freak, is that it can go from a seated event to a dance floor just by doing this.
No. Oh yeah, how about that?
All you gotta do is straighten your knees, and it's a dance floor, my friend. That's all there's to it.
It's a valid question. If he was there last year, we debated having it be seated,
that's right.
It was like so many people were like, well, no, then there's no room to dance. But I'm telling you, I heard more people complaining about standing all night than I did about not having room.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, and that was the other thing too, was that everybody asked for a dance floor, and like the 30 or so people that actually ask for a dance floor are the only ones up there. So you have this big dance floor, and then there's like this conglomerate of people that are like right there in front of the stage, and then there's like smattering of people here, there, and then that's it. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the die is cast. Either you want to come to the show or not. Freak Tech, sorry.
It's going to be a great show. Don't miss it. It's going to be pretty amazing. And speaking of which, again, tonight, if you're just joining us, we interviewed the amazing MonoNeon, and that interview is going to be up and available here in 5 minutes on youtube.com/Funkatopia. Last time when we had Thomas Dolby 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We did the pre-show with Thomas Dolby, and we basically did this. We did the pre-show, and then we kind of cut you loose. And I also put the video on X, and I put it on YouTube, and I put it on Twitter, and I put it on, whatever, same thing. Facebook. I put it on all the different channels, but this time around, I only put it on YouTube because I really want you guys to make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube. So go there and watch it. So I didn't want to put it in and kind of dilute the power of the video. So youtube.com/Funkatopia at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, 4 minutes from right now, you can head there and watch the interview, or you can just it's not a live event. You're not going to miss any of it. You can just hang out with us until we're done chit chatting about whatever we're going to chit chat about. And then head over there and watch it when you're ready. I hope you guys are going to hang out. But man, Tyra Lee says, are you doing a show in June while Celebration is happening? Nothing planned right yet. I mean, you'd think that we're run by the estate, but we don't have anything.
Yeah, no, that's not our. You're not. I mean, I guess is Tyra new here, or is she?
No, what I think is that there is. I told you that there is this contingency, and Tyra's probably one of them, where there is a lot of people who are planning to go up to Minneapolis and hang out in Minneapolis for the show. I mean, for just to be with a bunch of other Purple people, and don't really have any plans to go with the Celebration. So a lot of people are trying to find alternate events that are happening, that are running parallel to Celebration. And also, when you're there for the Celebration, you also have, there's shows that are happening along the same time. And just like after the Celebration is over on Saturday night or whatever, you go over to First Avenue or you go over to wherever. And you just, there's like lots of things that are going on. We do not have anything planned. There is, I can't even talk about what's being talked about, but there is, not to say there's nothing that's kind of in the batter, in the mix that we're tinkering with. But as of right now, we don't have anything planned other than I will be there. I'll be hanging out. I'll do as much hanging out as I possibly can. Matter of fact, come to speak of it, there are, I guess it's the early bird pricing that they have on the Celebration ends April 18th, which is this Friday. I don't know. I assume that it includes this Friday. So if you want to save that money, save a little. If you are planning to go, I'd figure out how to get the money by this Friday. Hopefully you get paid on Friday or whatever, if you're planning on going, because it will save you a little bit of money. And that's, that's important if you do plan to go. So there you go. I don't have my ticket. Michael, do you have a ticket? I know you don't have a ticket either. We don't have tickets
for Celebration.
Yeah, we don't have tickets.
I do not. No.
Don't have tickets. Somebody's got to keep the lights on.
No, the band is not. Hi, Tyra. Can I just address Tyra for a moment?
Sure.
Tyra, this is the one and only show. April 19th, Saturday. That's it.
Yeah, that's
After
right.
That the Together brand is defunct. I'm going another direction entirely, and who knows who the personnel might be involved in that. So no, this is it, Tyra. Don't look for a Together show in June, because there won't be. If there's anything, it'll be something else completely, entirely different. But I doubt it. Right now, in my trajectory, I don't have anything happening in that variety probably until sometime in the fall.
Yeah. So there you
go. I don't have anything nailed down. So now is not the time for us to tell you specific information about June. We're still focused on April. So,
or the fall. Yeah. Or the fall. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we just can't talk about anything. Yeah. We just can't talk about everything. We're just going to have to just drop it like it's hot.
I can definitely say no tour.
Yes, Christina, you heard correctly. No more Together. This is the last Together show that they will be doing. And then, not to say that there's not going to be other band configurations that Michael would be in, but it won't have the moniker of Together. It will be something else.
No, it won't. Yeah, I have to I've decided to remove myself from the MPG-ness of it all. And, in order to help people get less confused about who's doing what with whom, it's a lot. It's a dog pile on the NPG brand right now. I need to kind of break away and do my own thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of iterations of NPG. Yeah. I mean, none of
many original members of the how's the wording go? The former members of the original. Yeah, I'm over it, Tyra. It's a whole other thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and to be clear, there's not really any weak members of MPG. Prince didn't pull people into his circle that weren't worthy of being in that circle. But on the same note, if you are one of those many MPG members,
iterations. I mean,
that pie is just too small.
Today, Ida Nielsen is performing as the new power generation in France. So I mean, you know what I mean? It's like I
didn't hear that
in her group, but this is a guy who's over there.
Well, that's
I believe the bass player she is has her own new power generation that performs. So yeah, okay, well that's her prerogative to do that, you know. But the reality is that everybody's doing it.
Well, now is it? Because I mean, technically, remember there was the whole scenario where New Power Generation could not use that name, New Power Generation, and they even renamed their Facebook account to "We Were the New Power Generation," and it's still named that, as far as I remember.
Maybe it doesn't extend to overseas. I have no idea, man.
Yeah. So yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying though. But I mean, now they seem to. There seems to be some type of rule that applies. Okay. But then if you're doing an event that's maybe attached to them in some form, then those reigns came up. Hence Morris Day and the time. They weren't allowed to use a name, and Morris got really upset and got very, very public about it. And then all of a sudden he was, and now the family is now performing at the celebration. They weren't able to call themselves the family. They renamed themselves F Deluxe. I mean, it's just kind of. I get what you're experiencing right now, and I definitely can. Your frustration is warranted. And I'm really looking forward to whatever conglomeration you put together, because you're no slouch, and neither is anybody in your bands.
It just needs to be a unilateral platform for everybody involved in Prince's, in the universe of Prince's, everybody should be able to work together under some circumstance, and this is, I'm building towards that. I'm trying to create an environment where you can come see my band and you might see anybody. You might see Apollonia, you might see Morris, you might see Jesse, you might see whomever. You might see Wendy and Lisa. Maybe they just don't want to, bite off more than they can chew. But my band's going to know everything. We're going to be ready to play with whomever happens to show up.
There you go. So, I mean, we're looking forward to it. I don't know what I see Valerie's going, what? I'm not sure what she's whatting, but if you expand on your what, I can probably expand on the answer to your what. It's going to be great. It's going to be great no matter what, because I've, sometimes when you're, never mind, I'm not even going to say it. The interview for MonoNeon is live right now at youtube.com/Funkatopia. So if you wanted to go and watch that, you absolutely positively can, or you can hang with us and watch the MonoNeon interview. But here's what I want to do before you cut loose, before you jump ship and go to YouTube and watch that. What did you think of the interview, Michael, with MonoNeon? We're kind of going to give you a little bit of a pre-show of the interview that you might go and watch. What was your takeaway?
My takeaway was just, I don't know how we unlocked this combination that had him being so verbose,
Yeah.
Can I also say that I got a really nice call from Kurt over at the Electric Vibe today. Saying how much he really enjoyed the interview. He's a Patreon member, so he already watched it. He's like, man, it was really. He commented our obvious chemistry, and he also said, like, I don't know how you guys got that to happen, but as we talked, it's we figured out. He and I figured out it was a combination of what you've already built, here, and your interviewing style, and also my experiential parallels with Mono. Just, being young, working with people like Prince, that's all insanity. I know what he's been through because when I started with Prince, I was 19, so me and Mono had that in common. And you kind of held you held sort of everything together. You are the adhesive, I would say. Anyway, just to say that, just Kurt called me.
Well,
it was really,
and that's actually a good segue to, not that we're going to go away from this topic, because I want to share my thoughts on the MonoNeon thing too.
Sure.
But yesterday I did do an interview with the Electric Vibe. If you're not familiar with them, they actually have it's a podcast called the Electric Vibe Podcast. Let me try that again. The Electric Vibe Podcast. Plug in, tune out, get electric. It's got Kurt Hoffman, J. David Silva, and of course, the one and only bodyguard himself, Hucky Austin, is also part of that. But Hucky was not in the interview yesterday, but they interviewed me yesterday, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun. We talked it out. I think they said the interview was going to be released probably somewhere towards the end of April, but we just were talking, and we looked up, and 2 hours, like an hour and 45 minutes had already passed, and I was like, oh, okay. So it was fun. It was good. We had a good time, and look forward to that interview. Maybe go and follow the Electric Vibe so that you can be notified when that interview lands. But had a good time. And they were really, really cool. They had a lot of positive things to say, about us and about Funkatopia. And, they kept referring to me as the OG.
Well, they enjoyed having you. They did. He did.
Yeah. I don't know. Yes, I've been doing this is 20 years that I've been doing this. So I guess there is some OG factors there, but there's also, the stuff that I was doing before that, which was another music site called slabmusic.com, where I was supporting all bands in Georgia and all the states that touch it. And I was supporting local bands and just doing all kinds of, interviews and reviews and just taking it all in. I had this big database of bands, and it was a lot of fun. We had music festivals at Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Atlanta. It was great. I mean, and all types of people came in and out. John Mayer, John Hopkins from my God, why am I drawing a blank? Zach Brown Band. So like multiple members of the Zach Brown Band had been in and out of Slab Music before I shut its doors and it became Funkatopia. So yeah, I've been doing this a long time. It's a long, long time, but I just, whenever I hear people, refer to me like that, you kind of have to stop and go, God, man, I've been doing this a long ass time. It's like a really long time. It makes you feel really old.
20 years is no joke, man.
Yeah, it's not. It's oof, man. It's just a lot. But anyways, to go back to the MonoNeon story. See, here's the thing. I do a lot of research going into interviews and trying to prep for everything. And one of the parts of that process is that I go when I review previous interviews that they've done. And on the previous interviews that he's done, he wasn't really very talkative. He's very, very shy, very kind of almost borderline reclusive. Because the interview would like ask him a question. He was like, man, that album is really, really good. Did you put like a lot of time and working on it? And he'd just be looking down at his shoes and be like, I guess. I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, oof. I'm gonna have to try to figure out ways to kind of get him talking and definitely stay. You would have thought that interviewer would have gone, okay, no more yes and no questions. I need to ask questions that are going to require them to talk. And he didn't. He kept on doing that. And then now the other thing too, and this is out there already. But MonoNeon started his own podcast. What was it called? What was this? Jumping Elephants? I can't remember what it was. It was some crazy name that only MonoNeon would come up with. Jumping Kangaroo? No, I don't remember. You guys probably know what it is. But anyways, he has 3 episodes, and most of the episodes are them just tinkering around with musical equipment and just kind of just being. And there's not really a whole bunch of talk going on outside of episode 1. And there was a reason for that. I'll let you see it yourself. But yeah, it was just weird. We didn't know what version of MonoNeon we were going to get. And what we got was a very, like you were saying, very verbose, very talkative, answering all the questions, very descriptive. He was a really, really cool storyteller. And it was great. It was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Me too. It endeared me to him, and how open he was, and how real kind of I mean, it's funny because I've seen him like perform in a very aggressive manner. and to have him be so kind of Gentile,
Mhm.
you know, when it comes time to talk to him. That's what I find really compelling about him. He's actually, I mean, I guess, what am I saying? I mean, the king of withdrawn interviews and insane music was Prince. You know, he didn't want
Yeah.
to talk about it a whole lot. I mean, even with us, you know, and we were there to help him do it, you know.
Well, and just for those who have not watched the interview yet, which again, it is the MonoNeon interview is available right now at youtube.com/Funkatopia. I probably should fix a scroll. I probably should put up a scroll that says that. So if I don't have to continually say it, and it will be there for people to read. I'll handle it in a second.
Okay.
Anyways,
juggling kangaroos. Is that it?
that sounds right.
Okay. Somebody
Yeah.
said jumping. Somebody said juggling. So
yeah. So anyways, it was really, really good. We did ask him about Black is the New Black, which, if you don't know, is the album that he worked on with Prince, and it's supposed to be an instrumental album. And again, it was one of these projects that Prince had in his mind, and nobody really had a lot of idea what it was really going to become. And there's a bunch of things that we learned. I mean, obviously you've heard, you know, the Rough Enough or Tough Enough song that was released years ago, but then that was it. And then there was little clips that popped up on Instagram, or Princetagram, as he wanted to rename it. And I actually went and I dug deep and found those clips. And because I was like, I wanted to play it for him and kind of get a little bit of a response, like, do you remember that? What's your thoughts about this song?
Yeah.
And none of it really rang with him. I mean, I think it was just one of those sessions where he was just in the moment. And we also learned that you were a part of that project before.
Yeah. And I didn't even know that was the name of the project. So I just put two and two together. I showed up, you know, I was there for an hour or so, and then I rolled out. Nobody told me anything.
Yeah, that was just crazy. I mean, and I didn't know that. I saw that on Prince Vault, and I've been really careful about quoting Prince Vault too much, just because of there's some inconsistency in it for sure. Like the song, Andre Simone's biggest song that he co-wrote with Prince. Why am I drawing blanks today? I'm just like getting old as shit. You got the biggest song that Andre Simone has. Somebody help me. Anyways, Prince Vault said that his mom asked Prince to write that song for him because he was too shy to ask. Dance Electric, thank you. God bless America.
Okay,
just shoot me in the friggin' head right now. Yeah, Dance Electric. I don't know why. It's just when you have those mental blocks, it's just move on. Somebody
it's a
will
lot,
help you.
man. It's a lot of information.
It's a lot.
Up there.
It's a lot of information. And again, you start losing those synapses the older you get.
Well, not only that, your drive slows down.
Yes,
your manifold gets busted.
Right. So anyway, so Prince Vault says about Dance Electric that Andre's mom asked Prince to write that song for him because he was too shy to do it or whatever. And so when it came time for the anniversary of that song, I can't remember what it was, the 40th or whatever it was. And I happened to mention that in there. It was like, I said, you know, Andre's mother asked Prince, blah, 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 blah. Just like it said on Prince Vault. And then it wasn't even an hour later, Andre responds with news to me.
There it is.
I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Here's the link to where I got this. I'm just not making shit up, Andre, I promise. And then I had him on the show like a couple of months later, and I made sure that was one of the first things I did was I said, let me show you. Yeah. I'm going to share the tab with you where it says that. I don't want you to think I'm, you know, making up stuff about you. God forbid.
Yeah, you didn't start it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, it's pretty amazing. So again, MonoNeon, make sure you go to youtube.com/Funkatopia. The MonoNeon interview is up right now. What you're watching is the pre-show, kind of, because the show kind of started in the background. But we're just kind of hanging out, just talking. This is one of the short shows that we do, just kind of, let you just chat, ask any questions that you may have on your mind. I did see a question that popped by Franklin Rush. Michael Bland, is there a jazz with you on it in the vault? I'm assuming, is there a jazz music in the vault with you?
I don't know. I mean, actually, that's me playing on Song for Miles, a Letter to Miles, rather. I think
Letter to Miles. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of jazzy. I mean,
yeah.
There's a number of things on the I'll Do Anything, collection of songs that I'd say are kind of jazzy. Is it? And She Spoke to Me. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, She Spoke to Me. Yeah, that's a
great there's plenty, man. I don't know what you're digging for.
Well, no, I think he's asking whether or not there's something that's more jazz oriented that's in the vault that you might be on, not just individual pieces of songs. And you did mention this when we were talking about Black is the New Black, and because Prince Vault called it a mostly instrumental album, and you specifically said, I'm not really interested in doing an instrumental album.
Yeah. I mean, that's for people who are a little more, virtuosic minded. Like, I like I like good music.
Yes, right. I guess
structured well and with specific purpose. I'm not really into those aspects of the instrument that feed a person's personal expression. Like, I'm not like one of those musicians. Like, that guy, he really has a voice. He's really like, I'm not really player oriented. I'm much more interested in what an ensemble can do together. Although I recognize, the value of, even using the word jazz, it just feels funny to me because I know that's not even what it's supposed to be called. Somebody wrote a song called jazz, and somebody thought they were referring to the genre, not the song. That's how that happened. They asked the piano player, said, "What is that you're playing?" And they said, "Jazz," like JASS. And that was the name of the song they were playing, not the name of the music. And then
I did not know that.
So I'm all messed up on this Franklin Rush. If it means I'm playing the ride cymbal and playing the cross stick, there's plenty of that in the vault, man. But I'm not any kind of jazz musician.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we honestly do not know. And just to be clear, that is part of being a band member, is that, when you're a band member, especially when you're part of the core instrumentation of everything that's going on, it's not just about the lead singer or the guitarist or bassist. You're thinking about the entire collective. Yeah. And there's a lot, but there are people like singers when they get on their mic, they do kind of get into this singularity mind sometimes, depending on what's going on, because you're the front person, you're the lead person in that moment, and you're trying to kind of captivate a moment. But the best artists, the best lead singers, are the ones that understand the collective, and understand everybody's contributions and how it all comes together to make something awesome. So I just
I'll tell you who I think was the baddest at that was Robert Plant.
Yes, absolutely.
To be the lead singer in a trio like that, where everybody's just, like just blasting, going for it and holding your own. His range, how he was, like interacting with all the instruments, all of that, man. Robert Plant was a master at that.
Yeah, in the groups that he would put together, like the Honey Drippers and stuff like that, it was like, what the man? Come on. It's pretty unreal. See, here we go, talking about non-funk stuff, but that's okay. I'm wearing a Switchfoot shirt right now.
And that is awesome, young man. Now Franklin's asking about, I played on Madhouse 24, man. But again, it's like, if you ask Eric Leeds, that ain't none of jazz.
No, it's not.
It ain't jazz to Eric, so I don't know what I can tell you.
Yeah, well, that is, and most of the stuff that's.
You're right, man. I did do it. Prince like to get jazzy from time to time, man. But I really think, it
was its own genre. Madhouse was something totally different. It was not, it wasn't really jazz, but because of the fact, once again, I think a lot of times bands and music in general gets pigeonholed as jazz when there's a lack of a vocalist or something happening that when it's just about the band, sometimes it just gets pigeonholed into this, especially if it's harder, obviously not. But I think a lot of music gets miscategorized that way, just like Madhouse. Madhouse is a perfect example of that. It's like, it's not really jazz, but
No,
you're going
it's
to
some
call
kind
it
of
that.
fusion, I guess. But it's an easy term to grab and force into adaptation. So I get where you're coming from, Franklin. No fouls, no harms, no fouls, man. I just, I don't want any of the aficionados out there to get the impression that I'm saying that I'm like some kind of legit jazz drummer. I am not. I'm the first.
What I was thinking. I was thinking that this is, and it's kind of sparked by what Christopher Walter here said. He said, I would like to see future Madhouse records from the estate. What I was thinking? We always talk about everything that's already in the vault and everything that's already been released or and you're repurposing and just all this unreleased stuff. But have we ever really considered, or we ever discussed, and we've talked about a lot of stuff about them recording new albums with those past members, doing an NPG album that's recorded at Paisley Park Studios with the estate's blessing, with them having access to everything that's, a new family album, a new, having brand new music. It's not like these musicians aren't out here doing it. We started that discussion with that. It's not like that would be an amazing idea to bring those bands back in there, let them have access to some stuff that may be in the vault that they worked on previously, and just, let them go, let them do the thing. That'd be a phenomenal idea.
That's your idea?
That's my idea. I just thought about that.
That's hot, man. I really actually think that's very smart. It could also, in this sort of, not duplicity, but it's like all of this separation that goes on between.
It's not necessary.
None of it. It's a situation where everyone could win. Everybody could work under their professional name. The estate can get what they need out of it. They have distribution.
Just like everything that they're releasing or they're putting on us right now, if you're doing an NPG album or an NPG single or whatever, because I know they had written some music. I don't know what happened to it, because they actually debuted a couple of songs in concert a few years ago. I don't know what happened to it. I can't remember the name of that track. But anyways, it just feels like, it's we're NPG, but we're just kind of releasing this as, we're NPG. Here, listen to this. And like with the family, it's like, oh, we're going to rename ourselves F Deluxe because we have to. And, I just don't understand why it has to be like that. It's like, it's part of the whole Purple Paisley Park universe. Just bring it in, make it legal. Let's create some new music. Let's
all do business above board and stop sneaking around and stop trying to,
exactly,
like keep secrets and get away with, whatever. It's like, all that is unnecessary.
Absolutely.
I believe there's a scenario where the estate could work with all these artists and it could regenerate everything.
They could do. We're talking. That'd be great. David says a Third Eye Girl reunion would be cool. Also, it doesn't even happen. But here's the thing. I don't know if you guys paid attention to this, and I've mentioned this on the show a few times. But Donna Grantis is a beast, and there was a lot of recordings from the Third Eye Girl sessions that, again, you hear me talk about all the time: Menstrual Cycle and Octopus Heart, and all these really amazing instrumental tunes that are just like mind blowing. But if you got an opportunity to hear Donna Grantis's album Diamonds and Dynamite, it literally is like the studio version of what those recording sessions were, with no vocals from Prince. Well, I take that back. There was one called Midnight Blues that they did that actually had Prince's vocals over it. It was a Welcome to the Midnight Blues, and they did this whole thing. That was dope as shit. But the point of this being that Third Eye Girl, the sound and the vibe that they created as the trio without any, Prince's guitar was there, but they could do a Third Eye Girl reunion with making new music. Get Ida in there, get Donna, and get them all in there.
Yeah.
And do an instrumental, jam thing that's just something ethereal like Donna's already doing. And Edith loves to do the funk, so it could be like a blend of, whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
There's so much that they could do that the estate could go, you know what? MPG, that version of MPG and that version of MPG, or MPG as a whole, come in, let's write some new material.
Right. They could give
this.
us all a home. Everybody wouldn't have to be out here by themselves.
And we're all just waiting.
Properly supported. And yeah.
I mean,
think it's a great idea, man. Really.
I just think that, we're waiting for old material is what we're doing right now. We literally are stomping our feet and banging our fist for old material. And I mean, not that it's not going to be great. Don't get me wrong, because it's new to us. But, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much more that Wendy and Lisa and Third Eye Girl and NPG and the family.
Yeah, why can't there be a collaboration between Third Eye Girl and Wendy and Lisa?
It can't. It's just,
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a lot. I mean, there's so much to work with there. There's so much opportunity for them there. And they just, I mean, I don't, again, you're not privy to what's going on in the background. You have no idea what's going on in the background. So you just like,
yeah.
I mean, they could be dealing with it. They could still be clearing up a bunch of legal shit because right now, but something must have lifted because Shaka Khan did a release of what Shaka Khan announced. Wasn't it the Live for Live website? But Live for Live website covered it, but it was covered somewhere else. That Shaka Khan is releasing an unreleased album that her and Prince worked on, and I guess she got permission to release it from the vault. But then I read another interview that says the name of the album is called "Come to My House," and I was like, "That's been released."
Yeah.
So I don't know but Shaka Khan is freely talking about this brand new album that is that she's going to be releasing. That is her and Prince and Larry Graham. And it's going to be released at some point in time. And then what else did we find out? Oh, we found out the MonoNeon interview. I don't want to, some of you hopefully you're going to watch the MonoNeon interview at youtube.com/Funkatopia, youtube.com/Funkatopia. Just go there and watch that if you want to. The interview is live right now. It went live at 8, but you can watch it. It's not going. You can start it whenever. Anyways, damn it, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right. I let me take this opportunity to say, yeah, Franklin. I'm sorry. I'm doting on Franklin now because I think
I see.
Is he new? Have you seen him here before?
I think I've seen Franklin here.
Okay,
before.
that's all right. I haven't seen him before, so I'm trying to make sure he gets some kind of attention here. But
you're giving him some attention.
I want to disagree about Third Eye Girl being forgettable, man. I'll tell you first off.
Oh no, he didn't say that.
One of the first things I did, somebody brought up Third Eye Girl sometime after Prince died, and I was like, I've got to go give that material a listen. I've got to look at the clips. A lot of Prince's music I didn't really engage with because I always felt it put me in a position with the fans where they wanted to always kind of test me. Like, what do you think of this new record? And it's like, if I didn't like it, it'd be one thing. If I liked it, it'd be another thing. But just the fact that it's like, nah, I'd rather not even, be so privy to what's happening because some people might think that I'm, of course he doesn't like it. He's not on it. Or, of course he doesn't like it. Prince fired him. It's like, I don't even want to deal with that territory, So I stayed away from a lot of it and got into some of it afterwards. And I got to say, I think the Third Eye Girl was great. And not only that, I think that Prince played some of the best guitar I ever heard him play with them. I mean, it pulled something out of him.
Listen, let me just say this, Franklin. Go to YouTube. You can go and check it out right now. Just go to YouTube. Anybody can go to YouTube. Search for Third Eye Girl or Prince and Third Eye Girl, and then search for Midnight Blues. So say Third Eye Girl Midnight Blues, or Third Eye Girl Menstrual Cycle, or Third Eye Girl Octopus Heart. Any of those, and you will discover what that band was about. Yes, I think the album was a little bit too polished. I get what they were trying to do, but it did not take away from that band was a monster. And definitely you have to see the Third Eye Girl live experience, whether you watch it on video or not, because it's pretty amazing to kind of watch them just tear into it. I mean, they're monsters. Somebody asked, who played on Deliverance? Deliverance was just Prince, only Prince on all instruments. I think there was background vocals done by the twins, but it was a project that was produced by Ian Boxill, Boxill, and he released it without. He was going to release that whole collection of songs, but the state stopped him right before it got released. So that was Prince on all instruments, and it was just a studio session. So there it was.
Okay, yeah. I've never heard it, so I didn't know what they were talking about.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool. It's I Am, Sunrise. It was 5 songs. I Am, Sunrise, Sunset, Deliverance. I can't remember. There's like 5 or 6 songs on it. So it was basically what was going to be a man opera, whatever it's in Prince's world. So it was going to be a man opera. That's what it was called.
Okay.
It was some type of rock opera thing, and it was given the title of man opera. I don't know who came up with that, whether it was Ian or Prince. I don't know, but you could tell that it had those elements, those theatrical elements in the music that kind of like, oh, there's going to be, it's kind of like Rainbow Children, a feast, a smorgasbord at least. It wasn't anything like crazy like that, but
yeah,
you could tell there was going to be something that was going to be in the background of that. So,
well, yeah, it's funny because I remember us in a meeting with Prince trying to figure out. At this point, I don't think it was evident to us that that Maite was Prince's love interest, but when we talked about going on the Act 1 and Act 2 tours, like there were 2 ways we had discussed doing it, like just any other kind of tour where we just get out there, we play the hits, we get up, bam, 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 But Prince was, saying essentially it's like this tour is not going to work unless Maite is like the centerpiece of this situation, like, and that's how it kind of grew into this sort of, like it was kind of it started out as this very sort of like
it's like a play.
Yeah, kind of like a play, like like it was supposed to be.
Well, it had a whole storyline and the whole arc and everything. So,
right.
I
know what you're saying when you say that the music is
theatrical,
conjuring certain images, and it's begging to be acted out somehow.
Yeah, I don't know that it conjures any images. It's just that was the way the songs were structured. It wasn't like oh, I can imagine them, because there was no whatever pieces that were going to be released on Deliverance really didn't create much of a storyline. It was just kind of weird. So I don't know. I mean, they're fun to listen to for sure, but that's the other thing that we always appreciate. A lot of people appreciate about Prince music is his the theatricality, like Lady Cab Driver and all the dialogue and stuff that's happening and stuff. I mean, it's just, that type of stuff really adds layers to songs. And I just realized I probably gravitate a lot towards that now that I think about it. Like Kendrick Lamar's best album to me is To Pimp a Butterfly. And that's because it has all those weird theatrical elements in it where it's just, there's a lot of skits and a lot of, not like silly skits, like serious dialogue. And it's, just one of those intense albums. But yeah, I mean, it'd be good to see if the estate can pull together any pieces of anything. Because it doesn't feel like there's a whole plan. I think their focus needs to be in the celebration right now and making sure that's going to be a great event. But yeah, we just shared a lot of ideas that they could run with.
Well, hey, you know what? I mean, now that we're under the impression that somebody over there is, we've got someone's ear or at least someone's interest.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Oh, hey, Shack Attack. Yeah, did Prince told you that he used your drum parts from the funky ass loop for Shaka? No, he did not. He didn't need to tell us because all that stuff is license free. So
intellectual property.
Yeah, he used it and didn't, didn't bother to mention it.
Yeah, and again, for those of you who may not be doing anything this weekend, Saturday.
That's
April
right. Come
19th,
on, man, help me out. We got a few tickets left, so yeah.
Yeah. So the Together show is happening in Hopkins, Minnesota, which is southwest of Minneapolis, but it's really close. It's not that bad. It's only like 15, 20 minutes away from the airport. You're good. It's going to be the music of Prince, and it's going to have obviously Michael Bland, Tommy Barbarella, Levi Caesar, Dr. Fink, Homer, Rick. I mean, it's going to be a bomb diggity show.
Together.
You need to get, yes, absolutely. Agreed. You need to get your tickets at funkatopia.com/NPG. We'll take you right to the ticket thing there and come join us. Yes, I'm flying out of Atlanta. I will be up there this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to eat some kind of dead animal flesh when you get to the venue. Wings, ribs, I don't care what it is, man. It's going to be sweet meat. Yes.
My apologies to any vegans in the house. We're gonna be eating meat.
We can barbecue some little tofu. Hey, listen, I eat it all these days, man.
Oh my God, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And on top of that, there's a dance party after it with DJ Dudley D that's gonna be happening with the whole thing. And I think there's another parallel thing there's all kinds of stuff going on. Be there Saturday in Hopkins, and we're gonna be there. Hanging out, doing
all the songs
and as I may or may not have mentioned, that's not what I meant to do. The 18th, this Friday, I'm going to go back in time a little bit. We're doing a special event on Uptown Radio Plus. And we talked about this before, but this Monday coming up is the 21st. It will be the 9-year anniversary of Prince's passing. And I wanted to celebrate it. And I've been doing some random things here and there during this event, during this anniversary. And one thing that stuck and everybody liked it. So we're doing it again. And it starts on the 18th. It is Prince's transition celebration. We're going to be playing all of his music from A to Z. Now, technically, it's numbers to Z because we do all the, question marks and the love symbol stuff and 319 and all. We do all the numbers first and then we go to A to Z.
I got it. Yeah.
And it takes 4.5 days to do it, which is crazy. It's all of Prince's music in chronological order, and that includes those tracks like Menstrual Cycle and Octopus Heart and all that stuff. So all the stuff that he put out there.
You're basically pressing play and then leaving town, is what you're telling me.
That's exactly what's happening.
And then you get back to town and press stop. Okay, that was great. Okay, everybody.
No, I don't even have to press stop. I used to have to press stop. I used to do it, but I don't do it anymore. So,
all right, man.
But yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Everything will be in there, and we had this conversation. So, but anyways, to finish that, probably should put that back up. It takes 4.5 days to do it, but it's only going to be on Uptown Radio Plus. So you have to be a Patreon supporter to get that password to access that third radio station to listen to that and get back there and take a listen to it. But just sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/Funkatopia, and just sign up and listen to the show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Can I address Howard Davis's question at 7:36 p.m.?
Sure.
Michael, who inspired your drum fills in Shush? Well, if I had to say what, it would be Pressure. We had already rehearsed the version that's on Tevin Campbell's record, I'm Ready. But when they went to ask Tevin to sing, Tevin said I'd rather sing Can We Talk, is what he said, basically. And to which I'm sure Prince went, yeah, okay, well, I like this song, so I'm going to do it. And then we started rearranging it for Prince, while we were rehearsing for that weekend, for the Purple Experience weekend,
Mm-hmm.
It was called? Something like that. The Beautiful Experience. I'm sorry.
Okay. You're okay.
We were in rehearsal for that. That was the first time we played Shush live. Was in the Beautiful Experience thing, whatever you want to call that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Prince was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do with this. It's like, let's do it more like this. And he starts playing these, bam, and in between, put the drum fills in there, man. Like, let's go for it. So, okay, Prince, that's the pressure. You have to say yes, and then put your hands down and hope you're not, way off.
Well, on that song, did he let you freewheel, or did he? Because I hear a lot of recordings when he's coming up with ideas where he'll sit in front of the tape recorder and he'll actually do the drum parts too. Did he? They're like, it will be like, or did he just let you do your thing?
He just said, "Do your thing," but catch these hits while you're playing. Catch these hits.
Nice.
And what it ended up being years later, I realized, like, oh wow, this was just kind of like I sound like Diamond from the Ohio Players. I sound like I Want to Be Free, kind of. So yeah. I think that's kind of who inspired it, was probably Diamond, but really I owe it all to pressure and fear of losing my job.
It's pretty iconic. I mean, it's one of those. I can honestly say I've never heard a slow song start off that way, for sure.
Except I Want to Be Free by the Ohio Players.
Yeah, but even that is just kind of like because he kind of rolls into it. It's just
okay.
He kind of rolls into it a little bit more. It's not as brash and as forward and raw as what's happening in front of us. It's just not.
Well, okay. You're
killing it. You're killing it.
You don't have to twist my arm, brother.
You're killing it,
me.
Man.
Yay for me. You don't have to twist my arm for that, man.
Yeah, man. It's true. It's
thank you.
It's iconic, man, for sure. I was going to.
I'm sorry.
No, I was trying to put this up here, but I need it to be a scroll. I don't need it to be a pop up. So we'll figure all this out.
And this cat Christopher Walter, I was also. What is he saying? At 7:37, he said, "I feel like to really stay true to the legacy and what Prince would have done or wanted, you almost have to involve the musicians we worked with." I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah, really, and most of them are alive and living. So.
Yeah,
that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, we're all kind of trying to figure out a way to stay afloat and, it's a bad word, but exploit, our association, because we gave our lives to Prince, for periods. I was there straight for like 7 years. That's not that, and that's a real investment with somebody like that. That's. Believe me, he squeezed probably 15 good years out of me in that 7. So,
it's a lot of material back there too.
Somebody told me once, they said, you don't realize you probably lived 6 lifetimes worth of, like, what you've done with your life. You've done 6 times more because your profession demanded it of you,
Right.
So, it has a lasting effect.
And you're still doing it, man. So that's
still that's right.
Indie
face, man. That's the only way I know. Yes, indie face. In his face. And when are you gonna open the show with that clip? Oh, I guess Eddie Murphy would probably try to sing the pants off of you.
No, I have it somewhere. I have it somewhere.
Have it somewhere.
I do have it somewhere. I promise you.
Right time to use it.
I do have it somewhere. Hold on a second.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. While you look for it, what Shack Attack said something about Private Joy. I don't remember ever rehearsing Private Joy for any reason with Prince. I would have remembered that. That's one of my favorite songs. So I don't know who told you that, but we never did work on that.
That would have been.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you really just kind of rack on some of those earlier songs, man, where it's just your style over that. It's just amazing.
No, Prince knew how to use the people he had in his employ. Like always, I think anything could have happened with Wendy and Lisa. He could have made them just like any other sideman sausages, but he was open to their musical vibrations and influence and colors. He really, he liked to foster real musical relationships with those who were around him. That's That's
I mean,
really what it was about for him.
and that's what made the bands great, because there was this symbiosis among you guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
not just
everybody
in
was
the studio, we were on the road. Yeah, when you take the
Yeah.
same band on the road that you were in the studio with, there's a thing. There's a
Yes.
that's something there. I
Yeah,
can't.
you're
really
prepared.
It's well, the people know the music as intimately as you do, so you're really just kind of, I remember Prince saying like these records are just kind of like he looked at the recording process as like the litmus test, but not like he didn't think of his records as being like the gospel. He always wanted to be better live than he was on any of his records.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing. It's like we could never rest at being just as good as the whatever was on the record. We always had to add and stack and take it somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands that you don't understand unless you see them live, and I think Prince is one of those artists, because some of his music is so polished that you hear it on the radio, and people that aren't Prince fans automatically think of Purple Rain or think of When Doves Cry or think of some other pop hit, but you cannot experience Prince unless you've seen him do his thing live, and you go, oh, okay. It's the same way this has nothing to do with that, but with Grateful Dead, I listened to their music, and it's like, yeah, I can see they're obviously really talented dudes. And then my friend Rob, took me to my first Grateful Dead concert, which is one of Jerry Garcia's last shows.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I get it. I get it now.
It's a thing. You need to be there.
You need to be immersed in it. Dave Matthews Band is really, really similar to that too. A lot of like people listen to their CDs and go, ugh. But do you see them live and you go, okay, I get it. I got it.
Exactly. There's a lot of reasons why a record can go sour. It's not necessarily the artist. Sometimes it's the wrong producer. Sometimes you're battling for time with your label. They got, hundreds of other artists that get more time than you, or, there's so many reasons why a record doesn't do well.
Yeah.
So it's, the live form is the opportunity to take all that back, to be in control of what is happening with your music. I mean, it's a really, it's a very gratifying experience,
Oh, it is. Yeah. Just performing is so cathartic. Just being in front of
you
people and releasing. Yes, just releasing those endorphins live. There's nothing. There's nothing. I found your clip.
Yes! He's up there. Yes! In the face!
In the face!
All right. Thank you, man. That did something for me.
One of the things that we managed to do was not Michael and I, but Funkatopia, and just kind of having different dialogues and stuff with Prince. I'm kind of segueing into something, because it was always fun having dialogues with Prince via Twitter. I remember the one conversation I remember, we were having a back and forth dialogue about bootlegs and talking about how you feel about stuff that's, kind of escaped the studio and is kind of out there in people's hands and whatever. What are you going to do? How do you put a rein on it? And, it's kind of, some people out there are hearing stuff and listening to things and not even realizing that it's something unreleased if you're not intimately familiar with this whole immense discography. And Prince said something very interesting on the Twitter account. He said, in response, he says, fans share, not sell. And then he linked to an article that I did. And he says, they don't get sued, bootleggers do.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because, there was always this dialogue that people were like, oh, unreleased music, it's really, really bad. But that's not really where Prince was with it. It was like, I'm okay with you listening to it. I don't really necessarily have a problem there. What I have a problem with is you packaging this and then selling it without my permission, without me putting my fingerprints on it,
Right.
to make it an official product, and you're profiting off of me, off of my work. And that's the thing that I have a problem with. And I thought it was an
secondary revenue stream.
Yeah, it's like a whole it's a whole thing. It's just it's I don't know where I was going with that, but I kind of felt like I wanted to share that because I stumbled on that Twitter dialogue that we were having, and I thought, this is really interesting. I think mainly because of the fact that we were talking about the A to Z special before. We were talking about the A to Z thing, and I mentioned that there was going to be, I'll play Menstrual Cycle, and I'll play stuff that you probably haven't heard before, because he put it out there in some form or fashion, or got out there in some form or fashion. Things just don't escape, because even when he physically hands a cassette tape to somebody and says, "Hey, learn this song," and forgets about it or whatever, and then that person puts it out into the ether, he did it. And it was good. It was refreshing to hear, because I was having a conversation about, there was that whole conversation where he was suing some woman, not suing some woman, put a cease and desist to this woman who put up a video of her son dancing in the kitchen to Little Red Corvette or whatever it was. And he was just like, "You don't have right to use my music," or whatever. But it wasn't him. It was actually, the lawyers and stuff that he hired to kind of be a little bit heavy handed.
There's legalities and whatnot involved in all this. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything personal. It's about what does the law say? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was refreshing to hear that, though. It was like, listen, it's okay. It's okay for you to listen, but it's when you're turning that into
dollars.
Into dollars, we got a problem. So that's
turn the music into dollars, and the dollars ain't going where they're supposed to go.
Joni asked a serious question. If there was only Prince, an engineer, and maybe a few techs that acted to the studios, how did the music escape? It was handed to people. I mean, it wasn't. I can pretty much guarantee. Most of the engineers and stuff that we know, they wouldn't have done that because they respect their. I mean, I couldn't say they wouldn't, but again, there was a lot of scenarios where Prince made songs for people and put it on a cassette and said, "Learn this," and then maybe something would happen with it, maybe something wouldn't, and then it was just out there. It's
listen. There was an office in Paisley that I remember being incohabitated for a long time, and there was a huge box of demos and cassettes just kind of sitting in there. And sometimes I would just kill time and just listen to all these old Prince demos and demos that Taja Seville sang on. And I mean, it was a huge box of just cassettes. Anybody could have taken that box to their car and home or wherever. I mean, I'm telling you, it was very easy. It would be very easy for somebody to release that music. I mean, Pink just put out all those cassettes out on, for sale. Didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah. That's stuff that he got handed. And Prince would go, "Learn this." Hand people music, and you go and learn it. Maybe you leave it in the cassette deck at home. Maybe you leave it in your car. Maybe you sell your car. The tape's still in the deck. Who knows? I'm just saying, it's all over the place.
Joni's follow-up is, so then Prince was the architect behind the bootleg sensation that he griped about. Genius. Well,
let me be the first one to say absolutely. Can I say it?
Yes. He absolutely was. He knew exactly what he was doing, letting people get a hold of certain songs and just kind of getting it out there and creating this mystique about, all these unreleased music. And this is a song that Prince recorded and nobody has. We're going to record it. You can have it. And it was just like, oh my God. And then everything, my precious, everybody got these friggin' bootlegs and stuff. And it became this whole thing. And but he did have I don't think that he necessarily foresaw that the bootlegger part of it, where they would put it onto CDs and then sell it. He definitely had a distribution thing in his mind, but I didn't think he realized that would get to where it was.
Not only that, I mean, I knew somebody who knew an engineer at the Hit Factory in New York. Yeah,
it is.
Who said that Prince's limo would pull up, and the driver would bring in like a CD or something, and they'd have an engineer, whoever the mastering engineer was on staff, would master these recordings, and he'd give them back to the driver. The driver would give them to Prince. Like Prince had some of those bootlegs were professionally mastered.
And then there's other things. Like, since we're talking about the MonoNeon interview tonight, we're not going to be here much longer, but if you do want to see the MonoNeon interview, head to youtube.com/Funkatopia. The MonoNeon interview is up there right now. It's not pre-running. You can start it right now. You don't have to like catch in the middle of it and go, oh, what did I miss? And then tomorrow, it will actually be, you can listen to the audio version on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can check that out tomorrow. It will be on the Funked Up app. Yeah, the app is right there too. But one of the things that was really cool about the interview is we were talking about the album that he worked on with Prince, and that you were in there for a period of time. Black is the New Black.
I showed him to say, carry on, gentlemen.
That's right. And there was a couple of clips there. There's a couple of clips there from his old Instagram account that I went and dug through and found. And I'm going to play a couple of them right now because you can. These are probably songs that you have not heard, or maybe you did hear them when they came out, but you forgot all about it because they were little 15-second snippets, really, really short things. And here are some clips from Black is the New Black. Here's a 14-second one. I'm not releasing any bootleg. This is something that Prince put out there on Instagram.
Yeah, and you better clarify that now.
And it is still on Instagram to this day. You just have to dig for it. Here's a Soul Patch. That was Soul Patch.
All right.
Yeah, and then there was another MonoNeon jam. Rough Enough was that's already out there. You can probably find it on Spotify and Tidal, but Rough Enough with MonoNeon. That was the one song on this album that is still not released, Black is the New Black, that made it out. And here's another clip. So that's another little clip. So again, these were like little clips that he would put out on Instagram, and it was just some random little, I think that's what's cool is that he did put this stuff out there to kind of, wind that up. He did put a lot of music out there in a lot of different ways to make sure that he kind of got the spice roll. Yeah, I mean,
what's the point of having it if nobody knows?
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
I address Shack Attack at 7:57? Just because
8:57? Is that what you said?
7:57. It says Shack Attack 7:57. Tell us the story of Jamie Micah. I can do that in a few short words.
Oh, that was 8. Oh, it's showing 8:57 here. Wow, this is showing time zone for here. So I just got to put it forward. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you know. The only reason Shack Attack probably knows about Jamie Micah is because he is the guitar player who jumped on while we were playing Tell Me What I Say at the Beautiful Experience. Yeah. And that everybody thought, that guy can't play. This loser got on stage. Listen, nobody knows about Jamie Micah. Jamie Micah was a natural-born rock star. Listen, that dude could play some guitar. He wrote great songs. What happened was Prince turned off the juice. Prince turned off the stop box before he said, and he was asking Prince, I saw him saying, he said, where's the stuff, man? He asked Prince, where's the juice, man? And Prince acted like, no, I don't know why. Prince turned off the distortion and didn't show the dude where the pedal board was at.
Oh, so that was that infamous show. What night was that?
That's the Beautiful Experience. That's the and Prince said, Bud Light, ladies and gentlemen. Bud Light, called him Bud Light.
Yes. And wasn't that the same show that Jimmy Jam also came up later and was clunking around on the keys, and it was just a disaster?
Probably. I think that was a night.
Because he was like, now we got a real keyboard player in the house, and then Jimmy Jam went up there and was like, it was just a chord mess. It was just,
Listen, that whole night was a mess.
It was.
Jimmy is a consummate professional. We don't want to leave people the impression that Jimmy Jam can't play. I work with Jimmy and
Yeah, I
Jimmy.
know.
They're as bad as they want to be, man. But
I know.
that night was a disaster.
Right.
But Jamie actually he passed away not too long ago. He had a lot of the requisite issues that rock stars got. We're all on the spectrum somewhere, and we all try to deal with it in many ways. So it doesn't. This is a guy that I knew personally, and I worked with a little bit. So it's not. I was surprised to see him jump on stage that night, but he was saying like, "Man, I think I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get on stage with Prince tonight." He was saying that to me before the show. I said, "Well, go for it, bro. I guess what's the worst that can happen? You get thrown out. Security will grab you. So he was going for his, but Prince was sneaky like that, man. He didn't really want anybody to get over on him.
No.
It's a history of kind of sandbagging really good musicians when they jump on his stage. And I'm telling you, Jamie could play. He was friends with Steven Tyler. If I'm not mistaken, I think at some point in his career he was co-writing with Cheap Trick. I mean, this guy was not a nobody.
It's multiple stories I've heard of sabotage with him, and not just that. I heard it with Sting. There was some story where Sting came on to join him on stage for something.
Yeah,
and he had instructed. Was it Fink that told me this story? He basically told the man, we're gonna change. He was like making multiple changes so that Sting had no idea what was happening or how to keep up or to stay in the pocket. It was just like.
Exactly. Yeah. Prince was famous for trying to sabotage.
Sabotage.
So Jamie happened to be a victim of Prince's foul play, but no, that was an embarrassing moment for him. And it would have been had Prince just not been playing around, you would have been able to see that dude could play.
I remember hearing Jamie on the stage. Just turn it on and I'll give you some shit.
Right.
So he said something like that.
Turn up the juice, man. Come on. He was telling Prince, come on, give me the juice. Where's the stuff? Where you hiding it? I think he said, where are you hiding it, man? And Prince was looking like, it's like, what it was like? It was like old school wrestling. When they grab each other in the headlock and then the ref would say, that's illegal. And they go, no, man, I didn't do anything. And then they go back to cranking on him. That's what it was like.
Oh my God.
No, he was a troubled person, but a strong artist. And from my dealings with him, he was a good and honest person. So don't let Jamie Micah's name be floating out there with bad vibes. Y'all can stop that right now. It wasn't him; it was Prince playing around.
Yeah. Well, let's just say this. We're going to wrap it up. I'm going to recap the little bits that we talked about, not with the state stuff or whatever. We gave you tons of ideas. You can run with any of them.
Yeah,
wouldn't ask for credit because we're not going to get it anyway. So,
well, at some point, you can just follow the rabbit hole.
That's right. Just remember, we're going to go in chronological order here. On the 18th, go ahead and make sure that you download the Funked Up app because we're doing the transition celebration this Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Minneapolis time. April 18th, we'll be playing all of Prince's music in I keep saying chronologically, in alphabetical order. And we're going to start with the numbers 319, et cetera, 7, stuff like that. And then we're going to go A through Z, and it takes 4.5 days to do this. And it's just a multiple spattering of capturing music from different things that he released on Instagram, on the YouTube channels that he would have that would pop in, the Third Eye I grabbed him from everywhere that I could that he put them out there. So check it out. A to Z. It starts at noon, but you have to be a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Funkatopia in order to get the password for that radio station, because I just had to do that, because the other thing, and I've told before, is that this is an ASCAP licensed radio station. So when you have thousands of people listening, or however many people listen, and nobody's contributing to help to kind of offset that ASCAP stuff so we can make sure that Prince gets paid and all that stuff happens, there had to be a balance. So that's the reason why it's like that. Patreon.com/Funkatopia. Just join up, get the password, and enjoy and have fun, because there's a lot of really, really cool stuff for that.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah, man.
And I don't know why I feel like picking this particular scab,
Sure.
but I mean, is it just us, or like when Michael Jackson died, I had a certain kind of reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying aside from my association with Prince, I had a certain kind of reaction also. I mean, it was personal, but there's also, there's what you feel as a species, and then there's what you feel as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it sometimes I want to ask like random strangers, like, does just the oxygen on the planet feel different because Prince is not around? Like, his
For us, yes.
is felt so profoundly
To us.
even for me. I mean, well, for me, for good reason for me, but above the fact that I knew him.
Well, and we talked a little bit about, the transcendental stuff with Prince, and just his aura and his ability to walk into a building and you just know he's in the building. Right. He's here. Mm-hmm. You experienced it multiple times in the studio. You guys be playing, and he's like, he's here. And I experienced it at the Prince when every time I met him 3 different times, but especially that night of the final concert. This was not knowing that this was going to be his final concert, but there was something there. There was like something in the air and aura that was just, it was a calming, numbing, just relax. I don't know how to explain it. It was just something about the way that he kind of creates this vibe spiritually just by walking to a room is just like, and it's not just because I'm, a Prince fan and, listen to his music. There's something friggin' else that's happening. But I can tell you that it's in that purple circle, because I can, just like you're saying, I could walk out on the street right now, but when I walk out onto the street and if I ask somebody, they'd be like, it's cool, man. I kind of liked his music, but we are definitely in a bubble. And that's one of the reasons why.
You're saying it's us.
And I mean, there's a bunch of bubbles all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not the majority. But luckily, we float in those bubbles because we need that support, because you are way closer to him than I ever was. And because I only just met him briefly a few times. Even though he knew who I was online, that was a whole different thing. And I was like deeply impacted. It crushed me.
I never experienced a death like this, even with people in my family, where the after effect is, because it's 9 years. I saw somebody said it's been 9 years or something. And it's like, wow, it's I know, Corey Eischen, you have a good point, Corey. And thanks a lot Corey has been helping us program our synthesizers and whatnot for the show coming up.
Very cool. Welcome, Corey.
Corey is the keyboard player in Purple X.
Oh, actually. Nice.
And he's been a tremendous help to me personally for many years. Fellow Pisces, great guy, great musician, super resourceful, willing to help just about anybody. Corey, you're a good man. So I just want the whole world to know right now.
Corey, you need to make sure that you send Michael Bland to your LinkedIn account, because that's a hell of a review.
That's an endorsement.
That's one of those endorsements.
Give him my $500, chump. Yeah.
But here's the other thing too, is that when he died, again, it is the 9-year anniversary. He wanted us to celebrate this moment. He wanted us to celebrate his death. He didn't do birthdays because he wanted us to celebrate the day that he died. He wanted us to do that, which is why I'm doing the A to Z thing, is because that's what he asked us to do. Am I going to do something on his birthday? Yes, I of course, just because we all know it's his birthday. Thank you for placing him on this planet on this day.
Absolutely.
How many years it is?
Yeah, because you don't really know. Nobody really. I didn't even understand really the global impact until he passed. I mean, a lot of important people have died, but NASA doesn't just name a constellation after anybody.
They named the constellation after him?
Yes.
I did not know that. When was
I think
this?
they named it Purple Rain, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, I missed that. Wow, that's cool.
I'm saying Corey's telling the truth. There's no way to know, like, from person to person what kind of impact Prince may have had, and we are prisoners of our own influence.
And I've heard a lot of people say,
I guess is the one way to say it. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that, I don't think he said that. He was so I want to play this clip from the interview where he said it with Mel B, just so we're all on the same page, just so you can hear it come out of his mouth. And this is not AI generated. You can find it.
Hey, listen, if I could move tickets on a Monday, I would have done the show on the 21st.
Yeah, I mean, we're still gonna recognize it. That's what we're there for.
We're recognizing on Saturday, even though it's Monday.
That's right. In the town, right? Exactly. Yes. So here's the clip. Enjoy.
On birthdays, you don't like birthdays?
No,
not into that.
No. We came here not knowing that we were going to die. Somebody told us that. All right, and if we never knew we were going to die, we wouldn't celebrate a birthday because we.
But isn't it nice to celebrate the day you was born?
And I'll celebrate the day I die.
Because you're going to move on to the next path in life.
Yes.
Yes.
And there it is.
Yeah, okay.
There it is.
There it is.
Plain as day.
Mm-hmm. For all those who think I'm being sacrilegious or blasphemous.
That's right.
For celebrating Prince's passing. And it's not really a celebration of his passing. It's a tribute to his music,
Mm-hmm.
And
Joni, I will agree.
Yeah.
Prince has gotten more attention worldwide than any other celebrity post-death and continues to. I would agree. He seems to pop up a lot in movies, a song here or this there, or and that's that's part of moving that needle. And he comes up randomly in conversation. If it's a music type of interview, it's a pretty high probability that Prince is going to get mentioned somewhere in it, especially if it's anywhere in the genre of music that he did. It's just his name always comes up. Always.
Because he was so remarkable, and he was so hell bent on doing it his way. I mean, Prince's story is ultimately a success story. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the best, really. And it's a shame that really that the situation with the documentary didn't turn out so well. But I mean, really, it's like I don't know if there's anybody to blame about that, but I think the real misfortune is that we could have had a quality documentary on a person who I mean, while people are talking about him now, we know that the public has a short memory, and that that young people growing up now, there's a chance that they won't know who Prince is if we don't continue to tell them in ways like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and I think that documentary was slated for 2026 no, it was longer. It was like late 2026 into 2027 or something like that. I think is what
the new the recut,
whatever.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah, whatever it's gonna be. But I mean, that's probably what they should have done in the first place. The estate should have probably just, yeah.
But, another funny thing, as I was trying to locate that clip, because I wanted to mention that you're not going to see us unless you're not going to see us before the 21st unless you come to the event on the 19th. If you come to the event on the 19th, you'll see both Michael and myself.
Man, my booking agent is going to send you a bouquet of flowers, man. Promoting the crap out of this gig. Thank you, man.
Because I'm gonna be. I love having an opportunity.
You're gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I want as many purple people to come as possible so we can hang out. I mean, because next time I'm going to be able to hang out with you guys at the celebration, and I don't know that I'm actually going to be in the building during the celebration. So there's going to be some people that are going to see me and some people that are not.
Right.
So I just, it is what it is. But this Saturday, April 19th, together, it's going to be the tribute to the music of Prince, members of the new power generation, including Mr. Michael Bland, who's also the musical director of the whole thing.
If you don't like the show, you can blame me.
That's right. Tommy Barbarella, Levi Caesar Jr., Dr. Fink of the Revolution. I'll take the heat. Don't do it to Michael. And then Homer and Rick. I'm used to the negativity. We got it. Homer and Rick of Main Condition, then G Sharp, JB, Ashley Commodore, and the Urban Classic Horns. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a fun night, man.
I posted some clips from rehearsal earlier or later in last week, and they got a lot of activity. A lot of people excited actually to see Homer and Rick from Mint Condition back in action. So
it's gonna be amazing.
I'm hoping some Mint fans will show up to the show also.
It's gonna be. And it's going to be the last Together show. Once this show is done, the Together as a unit is not going to be. You'll see some other band iterations and whatnot, but
there'll be some people that you recognize. Right. But it's like we're headed to a new platform, a new paradigm, a new dimension, a new goal.
As George Clinton says, "Brother, can you paradigm?"
George said that. It sounds like George said that.
Yeah, it's a song. It's a song he guys has called. It's called Paradigm. Said, "Brother, can you paradigm?"
I wish I was one of those actual Funketeers who had all the records. I'm just not that dude, man. I
have a lot of records, but
people who don't play any instruments that know all the words and all the music to those P-Funk records. I played with them one time. And that was crazy because Gary Scheider and George would turn around and go, they'd start drumming, like air drumming, like, come on, man, play. And this was like around when Dennis Chambers had just been in the band. So I'm up there trying to light it up, but I'm not Dennis Chambers, man.
I want you to go.
Come on, give it to me. Yelling at me in the middle of the gig. Man, they worked me to death.
I went to go see Danny Bedrosian in North Carolina, and he was just doing a little bit of a jam, and he had some other members of Parliament Funkadelic that were there. Not some of the background players, the sporadic players and whatnot, and they were just jamming, and I was just sitting there just listening. And then they made this little switch into this melody, and I heard like a few people around me go, "Oh shit, shit!" And I was like,
"What is it? What?
I was like, what happened?" I was like, "Oh, he's playing Glucose Soccer Marine or some shit." I'm like, whatever.
That's what it was like for me on the gig. I'm like, what is this? And people start pumping their fists. What are we playing now? What is this? What's happening? What are we doing? Blackbird McKnight was playing guitar. Cordell Boogie was on bass. Man, it was a hot band. Eric and Bliss played horns. That gig was so funky, man. But I admit I was lost for quite a bit of it.
Joni says MonoNeon is watching. What's going on, MonoNeon? Yes, so the video is live. Go to youtube.com/Funkatopia, youtube.com/Funkatopia, and the MonoNeon interview has been live since 8 o'clock. We just kind of made this a show.
Remember why we were here. We forgot what we were doing here.
That's right. The MonoNeon interview, and it was a lot of good stuff. I actually kept up my the notes and some of the stuff that we talked about. We talked about Black is the New Black. We talked about obviously his grandmother, where we talked about the wardrobe. We talked about the socks. We played some of the random clips and stuff that's out there. And I mean, there were so many things. Oh, I don't want to spoil this moment, but I mean, since you guys are here, Black is the New Black, that when he said that album, at some point in time, Don Was, who is over Blue Note Records, is going to release that album, or was going to release that album, or may possibly release that album. I was like, what? So Black is the New Black might see the light of day, depending on what the release schedule is going to be, or what they're going to put out there. But I wouldn't think that Black is the New Black is really high up on that list, but it may find life on Blue Note Records.
You know what you make me think about now? How these individual people coming forward trying to put certain records out. Like what happened with Camille, Who was that had Camille and was gonna drop?
Jack White. Jack White from the White
did he do
Stripes. He's got it, and he has Jack White from the White Stripes bought it. He got rights from and permission from the estate to release it via his what is the name of his label? Jack White's label. We can look it up. Jack White has his own label. It's called Third something. Jack White. Somebody will type it before I do. Record label. Third Man Records. He's got a label called Third Man Records, and he is apparently going to release it, and he has permission to do so. But everybody's heard all the songs on Camille, but it would be interesting to. What you got to make sure of is it's not just taking those same songs and just putting them in order as they are in Camille. Like, try to figure out, some semblance of maybe the segues that maybe he planned. Like, maybe there's some recordings that are in the vault of, potential segues, because, and the reason why I say this is because Dream Factory was going to be an album before it got exploded into Sign of the Times and this, that, and the other.
Right.
And there are segues from a lot of those songs on Dream Factory all through that album that kind of bleed one song into another.
Yeah.
And
okay,
I actually have a lot of those recordings with those bleeds, and I've played it on the radio station before. Here's Dream Factory. You guys already know all these songs, but here it is with the specific recordings, with them all sewn together in the way they were supposed to be. And maybe there is something that exists that's similar to Camille, because again, you can't. I mean, you could just take the songs and put them in the order that they were intended for Camille and release it like that, but I just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to do it that way.
Is that what he's got? Is just like the songs and not?
But that's what he bought on the auction was,
Okay.
I guess, the album. So if he's going to be, I don't know. I don't know what's on. I don't know what's on that album, because the album, all the songs that we know are on that album. All the ones where he's singing in that altered
Can you
pitch.
tell me which songs those are? Because I get really kind of semi confused because I know too many songs from that era.
Yeah, I understand. Well,
Like, is Psychedelica on it?
It's all of the albums, all of the songs where he sang in that upper register.
Okay.
Which is
If I Was Your
which
Girlfriend?
is rebirth. Well, here it is. Side one is Rebirth of the Flesh,
Absolutely.
Housequake,
Mm.
Strange Relationship,
Yes.
Fill You Up, and that's side one. And then side
That's
two,
nasty.
and then side two is Shockadelica, Good Love,
Yes, Good Love.
If I Was Your Girlfriend, even though the version that's on the album does not have the dun, 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 doesn't have that intro.
Sure.
That was added for Sign of the Times. And then Rock Hard in a Funky Place.
Are you kidding me? That's the Camille record?
That's the Camille record.
Man, that's nasty.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
really
sorry,
nasty.
even without the somebody just gave you the full on. Thank you, Rodney.
Yeah, he copied it from Prince Vault. That's what I was reading.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
exact verbiage and times and everything. Yeah.
Man, I know I've
Good
heard
copy
the
and paste
songs
it.
before, but in the order.
Now
of
you can
them,
now you can see it. Rodney's put it out there so you can see
Yeah,
it.
I see. Man, that's fire right there to me, man.
Yeah, it's great.
That's
Now, and here's the
real
thing
fun.
with Dream Factory, the way the Dream Factory was, the first time I sewed it together with the songs, with the segues and stuff, because there was like multiple recordings of a lot of those songs, and they had these weird segues on the end of them, and you never knew what they were. And then when we saw the Dream Factory track listing, and you were like, oh, that's what that is, because that bleeds into that. And it was really, really cool to hear it. Dream Factory would have been a classic like Sign of the Times. Easily. It would have been, yeah.
Well, what that's telling me is that it wouldn't have been necessarily commercially viable, because what I remember about Sign of the Times, I mean, obviously it's critics' choice, fan choice, but I don't remember that record performing so well commercially.
I think it had this, You Got the Look, and it had, there was a lot of songs on it that, and he had the accompanying movie, which kind of helped push it. So I think that there was some sales. I think it did pretty well.
In my memory, it was like this isn't like it. I remembered like it was like I was at a record store, and I saw the single for "Sign of the Times" that had Kat dressed like Prince. Was she holding a guitar also?
It was a heart.
Remember.
It was a heart.
Okay.
It was a big black heart.
Yeah, I remember being in a record store, just kind of stumbling across. It was like, whoa, when did this come out? You know. And then I kind of went on a hunt, but what I don't remember, I remember seeing the video for "You Got the Look" actually in pretty strong circulation. That she just said it. "You Got the Look" was played constantly on MTV. Yes, it was. And he also played "Sign of the Times" at the Video Music Awards, like that year.
It reached number 6 on the U.S. Billboard Top Albums chart, number 4 on the Billboard Top Black Albums chart, and then
He's still active, but I mean,
it's certified platinum by the RIAA 3 months after its release. So it was certified platinum, like just a few months after it was landed.
Okay.
So
all right, maybe it was just a feeling I had.
Is there still a top Black Albums chart anymore?
I hope not, because that's it's kind of repulsive to me, the idea now.
It's always weird to see. It's like, you know, it's like
black culture is an American.
Yeah. Here's the music. Here's the music. Oh, and this is what the black folk were listening to.
What was that,
like,
man?
what?
Come on, man. How do you fix your brain to spit something, to push that down to your mouth to say something like that? It's crazy.
And they said it seriously.
Yeah,
all the
black
time.
Charts.
All the time.
Can I take it a different direction for a second? Because I remember did you see that when they had RJK on this in front of Congress talking about what was he talking about? He was talking about something to do with vaccinations, and he said something. Because when blacks, the way this dude said blacks brought up, like tickled, like startled every racist, like signal in my body that's racism. My body just started screaming racism. All my molecules were like that. I've never heard blacks said more racist in my whole life than when RJK said that. Oh man,
RFK Jr. You mean?
Yeah, RFK Jr. Yeah.
This was the image I was talking about. I saw somebody say, she also is holding a guitar on. Yes. So
all right.
Okay. There's a whole bunch of photos like this.
You're both right. Yes.
Yeah. There's
a bunch
of
photos.
It
was a flop. I'm just saying. I think that it was. It's well. First off, I mean, I guess understanding now how much trouble he went through, because it was supposed to be like a 3-album set at first. Was it supposed to be Christopher Wall?
Yes. Yeah. And it was, and then he had to and I don't know what would have been. I assume some of those other tracks from that he probably wanted to merge more of Camille into that, having Good Love and those things. It was probably going to include all that, and he probably just pushed it off to the side. I mean, a lot of that.
I mean, what I heard was it was pushback from Warner Brothers to try to get him to whittle it all down.
Yeah. I mean,
they didn't want to put out a 3-album set at the time.
Yeah, I don't think they certainly didn't trust it, because I mean, I think it was.
It's dark. That album is dark, man. A lot of it.
But it's not like they couldn't sell, because the album before it was Parade, right? So I mean, no.
Yes, you're right.
Parade. Yeah, so it was Parade.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like you're going, oh, maybe he doesn't have any hits anymore. He's not a hit machine, because Parade was a big album.
Was that the record where it is Sign of the Times, the album that inspired the Black Album? Is it not? Maybe it's not. Yes, it is. It is, because I mean, inadvertently, what I keep hearing in my brain is that I saw a lot of people, I've seen some written word about how people were criticizing Prince for kind of abandoning his black roots somehow in music. He wasn't funky no more.
That was the response for the Black Album. That was the response for that. And so he was kind of, which was interesting, because there's been multiple accounts of him telling labels, don't make me sound black.
Yes.
There's been multiple instances where he said that. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be, you know, I guess with the equivalent of what he was saying was like, I don't want to be a Maxwell. I don't want to be, that's
He
not
didn't even
what,
he didn't
that,
even
that's
really
not what I want.
Right. He
I
didn't
mean,
even
Maxwell
want to
didn't
really
exist yet.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. He didn't want to be Earth, Wind, and Fire even. Like,
Yeah.
weren't they trying to stick him with Maurice White early on? And he was like,
Yes.
I don't want that.
He
So-
wanted, Maurice White was going to be the one, was going to produce his first album
Sure.
for
Okay.
you. But he was just like, nope, not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's like,
So,
okay.
no, he was always wanted to go his own way. And I think that it's, you know, I mean, I think that he probably mainly said that because, you know, being a black artist almost gave a record company an excuse to marginalize you,
Yeah.
you know? So, of course, he wanted to be pop. He wants everybody. He doesn't want to just speak to his own people. And who was
Mhm.
that? And, you know, I mean, Prince was pretty light skinned. I'm sure there was a mix going on, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know, he just wanted a chance to reach everybody. And record
Mhm.
companies, they don't know everything.
Yeah. No, they don't. They don't.
They really don't.
And it would be great. I mean, I know it's about money, but and I do know that the record company does do a lot. I know that if they're doing their job, they are doing a lot, helping to, you know, push
Sure.
some of the tours and the marketing and all the pressing and getting, you know, making sure the albums are getting the distribution. There's a lot that record companies do. So I totally get that, but there's still a massive imbalance with artists and labels as far as who's getting what. It's so I do believe it absolutely should be fair, but also should not be, you know, marginalized what labels do if they're doing their job. There's plenty of bad stories.
Everybody's got to do what they're supposed to do for it to work. I agree. But sometimes people get petty and weird and strange, you know, and you know, I sometimes record labels will just, oh, okay, you're not doing what we want. They'll fold their arms and just let you just, you know, slip, let you dip.
That's right.
So, you know, it's because whatever somebody can give you, they can take away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very strange game, man. But I think that you know, ultimately, you know, history shows that Prince was the victor. I mean, in the end, he got his masters back. You know, he went on one of the most successful tours of his life. You know, that musicology was the stroke of genius. You know, like selling the record with the ticket.
Yeah,
like that's Prince.
Mm-hmm.
That's Prince. Like, okay, you want to, I'll use your game and your rules and still figure out a way to win.
Yeah, SoundScan had a big problem with that. Had a really big because the other labels and I guess competing artists or whatever were like, that's not right. That's not, you know, he shouldn't get all those, you know, all those thousands of sales. Just, you know, it was like,
listen, they gave it to Michael. They gave it to MJ on History.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's
MJ got credit for 2 CDs. Prince researched it himself. That's why he went, oh, okay, all right. Well, I think Emancipation gonna be.
Oh my God. When you think about all the ground that he broke, all the ground that he broke with distribution of music via the internet. I mean, with MPG Music Club, everything that he was doing was so groundbreaking at the time that doing things that nobody else had ever done and just really just kind of pushing the boundaries of, you know, helping with artist relationships with their labels, with it was pretty, and distribution of music and figuring out ways to get his music out there in different ways. And he was just a genius, nonstop genius, just nonstop.
Yeah. And think about it, because when Mono said that, when he said that Prince just inspired him, like he said that he could do so much. It's the sheer volume, and also it's the impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. That's what it is about Prince. So much of it is so good.
Yeah.
It's almost too much of a good thing. You know, I get it. I understand. You know, with Warner Brothers, Rodney talking about Warner Brothers was concerned about oversaturation. I get it. I understand. They had probably a couple thousand other artists they had to, tend to, and Prince couldn't be top priority every day. He was probably
Right.
lucky if he was top priority once a week.
I can't remember who it was. There was like some type of record producer or something. Somebody had mentioned what was going on in the background with the whole Prince scenario, and I guess one of the label heads had to sit Prince down and go, look, here's what we have to promote all the artists that are on our label. Sure. He's like, you've got your slice here. You've got, Lionel Richie's slice here. You got this people's slice here. You got like all these different people that have to be a part of this pie. And you're wanting to release 4 albums in a year. We can't do that. We have to give everybody, equal push. And, and he just felt like they were really holding him under their thumb.
I'm better than most of these artists you're mentioning. Why should you should prioritize me because I'm better? It's probably how Prince thought of it.
Right. Are they selling albums?
Right. Are they an icon? Did they have their way with a decade of pop culture? No, I did that. Like, I deserve your attention, kind of. And he wasn't wrong. I think Prince was like a broken faucet. Just running and running and running, song after song after song. He'd leave rehearsal to go to Studio A to record. He'd just get an idea for a song and just put his guitar down and walk out. And then Levi'd say, well, let's go ahead and finish up the set. And we just keep rehearsing. It's
unreal.
Yeah.
Never ending content.
It's never ending. You're absolutely
never
right.
ending. Never
now,
ending.
I want to know from Rodney. Rodney, can you respond to this if I ask you? When you say Love Sexy was born from the Funk Bible, are you talking about There's a Riot Going On, Fresh and Small Talk by Sly and the Family Stone? Because in my circle, that's what's known as the Funk Bible, Rodney.
Well, I also heard the Black Album referred to as the Funk Bible also. I've also heard the Black. So yeah, you have to define what you're calling Funk Bible. But yes, I would agree. Rodney. Yeah.
I'm looking, Rodney. I'm looking at the comments. Are you going to define to me what is the Funk? Was the original title for the Black? Oh, wow! I didn't know that. Thank you, Corey. I guess that was what the original title of the Black Album was. The Funk Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So bold. All right, man. Okay. I got it now. I see you, Kyle. What's going on, Kyle Christian? I see you, brother. Wow. I don't know if I ever knew that.
And Corey, it's going to be good to see you this weekend, man. I haven't seen you since.
I don't know if he's coming, but he's certainly welcome.
Well, I thought you said he was doing your sound setup or whatever.
No, he's been doing it. It's like the keyboards, all the patches will be set probably by tomorrow. We won't. That doesn't mean he won't be there, but you guys should meet. Actually, we've met.
Show. Oh, okay. We've met. Yeah, we've met. Right, he hasn't been on the show, but we've met.
You guys would probably, I bet you geeked out together a little bit.
We haven't really had an opportunity to geek out.
Okay.
No, we haven't had a chance to do that, but we've definitely met at some of the Purple X shows.
Okay, now Corey's telling me he'll stop by rehearsal tomorrow. Okay, man, I was hoping you would. We start about 5:00, so anytime after that, come on through.
Yeah, I'm not up there till Saturday, so unless you're going to be up there, then I won't be there. But
no. I saw actually one other question I thought maybe I could respond to. Hi to you both. It was at 8:21. It flaunt, ITFLAU in 8:21 p.m. Hi to you both. Could you ask Michael about the 3 Chains of Gold track? Did Michael think this was a nod to Queen, and how hard was it to get down? It's such an epic track. Yes, I thought it was a nod to Queen. Prince didn't say that, but also you have to consider that Prince was also a big Kate Bush fan. And so just because you hear an epic piano power ballad, it don't necessarily mean it's Queen. It could have been coming from a different place. And it was the longest session of my life. We recorded Johnny, Love to the Nines, and 3 Chains of Gold. Same session. We were probably in the studio easily over 10 hours.
Man.
So, because to arrange it properly, we had to be there. So Prince was at the piano, and I don't know if anybody knows, but he used to carry this cassette deck around with him, like the old school deck with like the speaker, like the rectangle with the speaker. Like, yeah, no, not that, not the ghetto blaster, but the joint with the handle. Like
I know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, really, he'd come in the studio, there'd either be a cassette deck there. I think he might have had one at home, a deck home, and a deck at Paisley. And he just put the tape in, he'd play back some of his ideas, and then he'd elaborate on them in front of us and show us what he was trying to get to.
Man.
So imagine arranging 3 Chainz of Gold from the beginning, and then to try to play it, to execute it, understand it in its entirety, and then execute it. I think it was like the third take, and there was still an edit. Every time we went through, one of us would mess up, and we'd have to go back to the top. And,
you guys give a glare like, God dang it!
You try to be forgiving in the studio.
Yeah,
because any given day it can be you that's holding everybody up, But no, it was hard to get down. We never actually got it. He made an edit at the end. He asked us to do something, and then he decided against it before he finished the song. Man. Yeah, that was hard to get down. That was a long day, and we hadn't been home that long from the Diamonds and Pearls tour at that point. So, we kind of went right to work when we got home.
So much history, man.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable.
I don't know. I mean, we've been on for almost 2 hours, man. What do you want to?
Oh, well, I guess we can talk. Well, let's just talk about the 2 most important things to bring up before we head out. Besides the fact, go to youtube.com/Funkatopia if you want to watch the MonoNeon interview. It's been live since 8. It's only on YouTube right now. Make sure you check it out. It's
probably over by now.
Yeah. Well, it will start when you start it. So all you got to do, if you're watching on YouTube, just refresh the screen and you'll see it. Then you can click on it.
Okay.
Also, make sure that you download the Funked Up app, because this Friday, the 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. Minneapolis time, all of Prince's music completely in alphabetical order, and it takes 4.5 days to do it. But you have to be a Patreon supporter because of the whole ASCAP licensing thing. So patreon.com/Funkatopia, patreon.com/Funkatopia to get that password and listen to the station and check it. It's going to be fun. And then, of course, on Saturday, April 19th, new Power Generation members are going to be at the house together. Tommy Barbarella, Michael Bland, Levi Caesar Jr., Dr. Fink of the Revolution, Homer, Rick, from Mint Condition, G Sharp, JB, Ashley Commodore, and the Urban Classic Horns, all going to be there jamming in Hopkins, Minnesota, which is just southwest of Minneapolis. It's really close to the airport.
That's right.
Come join us. If you want to get tickets, Funkatopia.com/NPG. We'll take you right to the ticket thing. Michael and the band are going to be jamming it up. I will be there too, hanging out.
Give up the funk for Prince, man.
Yeah, we're going to be out there.
We're there for it. Absolutely.
We're going to be out there having a good time. And I tell you, it's always good to kind of have these little pre-shows, but then the pre-shows become shows themselves, and we knew this was going to happen.
Well, no, we actually got kind of deep for a minute here.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
that's going to happen, I guess. So, yeah, we've been going almost 2 hours. It's just right on 2 hours. That's amazing. But we can do it because it doesn't feel like we've been talking that long, because
it really does.
Because we're having a good time, just jamming. Hope to see you guys on Saturday. If we don't, maybe we'll see you on Tuesday. I don't know. Eventually, we need to take a week off at some point in time and just take a breather and go. Okay,
I'd be fine with that. Or maybe we could even take one of these Tuesdays, and you and I can just kind of plan out a little bit further, because I'm sure there's things we haven't covered there's people we still haven't asked. And there's definitely subjects that are on my mind that I got ask you and not just jump out.
I got a full list of people that I've been.
Okay.
So we'll see if we can make something happen. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with the mighty Michael Bland and myself, and this pre-show MonoNeon interview show thing, whatever we just did. Go to youtube.com/Funkatopia and watch the MonoNeon interview. It's a lot of fun. You'll love it. It's not that long. it's like half of the time that it took us to do the
Right.
show.
Are you ready? It's like the intro went longer than the show.
And I hope you guys had a great time. We will see you very, very soon. Hopefully this Saturday. I hope to be hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, come on out now. Say hi. The dressing room door is open all day. So
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
come right back. I'm not
That's
hiding.
right. Yeah, and we will close out. Before, we normally play our little outro, but we're gonna spend at least a couple minutes listening to MonoNeon do the national anthem, and then we will do our outro. So thank you guys for hanging out. We'll talk to you. Here you go, MonoNeon doing the national anthem.